Hey guys, it's Daniel. Welcome back.
You guys were talking a little bit earlier about the relationship between Dime and Vinny creatively. Was one of them more the leader than the other, or were they kind of equal in that sense?
Totally equal.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally equal. No one dominated each other. They worked as very much symbiotically.
Personality wise, what were they like? Were they very similar or were they different?
No,
Different. Yeah.
no, they were two very different people. He was more like the business guy. He was more like the guy that for the longest time he kind of held the whole thing together because he made sure everybody got paid. He made
Hmm.
sure that there was somebody to drive. They made sure that he took care of all the business stuff. He learned from his dad, and then as the years went by, Dime really started stepping into that role as well. But I would say Dime was more and not to say that Vinny wasn't a loose cannon, but Dime was more of a loose cannon in that respect. He was a giant child. He was fun. He had that video camera rolling all the time. He was always looking to laugh. He was always the guy that lit up the room. Vinny was a little more, I'm not going to say reserved in that way, but Vinny was more of a kind of read the room,
Hmm.
and Dime was more like be the room.
Oh, that's
Does
cool.
that make
That's
sense?
very well put, Sterling. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And
It
it
was a
wasn't out of
circus,
a
man.
need to feel like he was the attention center. It was
No,
not that
no,
at
it
all. He
was.
was he was the room, as
It
Sterling said.
was. It was. It wasn't. I need attention. Look at me. Look at me. It was. And this is said with the most heartwarming kindness. But it had to do with uh, he wasn't on or off. It was just him. And he was, whenever he met somebody, he made that person feel like they were the only person in the universe, and he was completely focused on them. He wanted to make sure that they were happy and having fun, and that we were here to rock and roll. And he made everyone feel like that, not just a fan or me or Tim or whatever. It was that he truly was, I think, a very empathetic person, and I think that he fed off of positive energy and exuded that as well. He could light up a room like nobody and
Awesome.
still make you feel like you were the focus, that you were, he was there and he was talking to just you,
Hmm.
you know, and that, I think he had that effect on so many people. Uh, my life, as I know it right now, wouldn't be what it is without him,
Hmm.
and Vinny too. There's a lot of shit that Vinny taught me, but without those two guys, my life wouldn't be what it is because they really helped me come out of my shell
Hmm.
and be more assertive, but be nice as I'm being assertive. Those kinds of qualities, and they were in that respect. Yeah, they were very different people, but they both taught me kind of a lot of the same things.
That's
You
awesome. I
know,
really respect that. Would he kind of improv his solos or would he write those out?
there was a couple of times he improved a solo, and we were like, "You're keeping that." It was that first take is golden thing. Every now and then there would be one like that. I remember one on Reinventing the Steel like that, and we were like, "Do not touch that." And then he would come back and just do like a little bit of like, he wouldn't change the part. He would just execute a note or two better,
Hmm.
kind of thing. And we would be like, do not touch that. That is perfect. We're not, because there was one night I remember in particular where it was just like, hurry up. We're gonna be late for last call, what we would call last call every night, hitting the bar.
Mhm.
And he was just like, all right, let me put a solo on this real quick so we can listen to it on the way to the bar. And he whipped out this solo real quick, and it was like, that's staying on the album. That's not going anywhere. And we kept it,
That's cool.
note for notes. That was on Reinventing Still. I don't remember which song. And then there was another song on Damage Plan called Moment of Truth
Okay.
that is like a 2.5 minute long solo. That is all one take.
That's cool.
One take, one first shot. By the end of that solo, when he did that, I've got a whole other story about that particular night,
Hmm.
but that is a one take solo. But most of the time he would have his solos worked out before he came into the studio, because he would have we had the studio there at Dime's house, the main studio, and then he had his own little, what he called a 4-track studio upstairs in his house, and he would sit up there, and somewhere there's a closet full of 4-track cassettes of him working out solos.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I had to go through a bunch of stuff to find some multi-tracks, and up in his closet there's literally a closet where there's boxes and boxes of cassettes, and they're written on it. It says fucking Hostile solo.
That's
solo
awesome.
1, fucking Hostile solo 2, Shedding Skin solo, all the stuff that he did. And he would sit up there and construct these and work on them, and then he would come in to record, kind of away from the demo is going to end up being the album philosophy.
Gotcha.
But again, he treated these solos like they were a song inside the song. A lot of them were meticulously worked out, and he was looking for a certain thing. Some of them were only half worked out. And then he would sit there, me and him would sit there for hours and he'd go, all right, what if I hit this with this augmented riff? Okay, what if I try it diminished? What do you think of that? What if I pick this up legato? And he was actually very musically.
That's cool.
A lot of people don't know this, but he was actually, I wouldn't say musically educated, but he was musically smart in that regard.
And I was going to add to that and also say extremely organized amongst the chaos.
Yes.
Extremely organized amongst the chaos. So what might appear to be one person's total, you got to be freaking kidding me, we're going about it this way, totally would make sense when you broke it down. Exactly what Sterling was just saying right there. If you were to go back and take a look at some of the notes that were probably written, cassettes that were done, one of my pet things with Dime was always he had that camera going 24/7, and it literally, I'm sure there are things that were caught that would have never, that were captured that we would never think a second thought about, but it's there. It's totally there. There's absolutely, in my humble opinion, total genius amongst what might appear to be chaos going on.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And then some of it was chaos for the sake of chaos. All right, let's do this. Let's plug in 10-foot pedals just to see what sound they'll make, and that's what we're going to roll with. Never to ever be touched or reduplicated ever again, even if you tried. Stuff that I would never even thought of. Crazy recording scenarios. Put a mic in the bathroom, and then we're going to compress that, and then we're going to run it back through a guitar speaker, and then mic that. It's just crazy stuff, dude. And you stuff that I even took notes on that I could never even duplicate today if I tried.
So Dime had a very producer savvy mindset. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely. Him and Vinnie both. Dime's came from more of a musical side, and Vinnie's came from more of a technical side, and the two of those coming together was what helped that happen.
Which, by the way, Daniel, and I'm sure that you probably know this, but that is very, very rare to get technical and artist side where they can actually speak the same lingo and actually know what's going on. That made such a big, big difference to even those of us who were kind of, and I say this respectfully too, but those of us who were on the outside kind of looking in on their bubble for that period of time.
Yeah, that's really cool.